Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and another season of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, the ARLTCR Winter Series here, presented by Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse alongside Adam Bath for another season. And Adam, well, we're back here again, mate. It's fantastic to be here. We've got 60 cars on the grid. We have a new damage model, which could be absolutely spectacular.
Oh yeah, it's the sixth season of us covering this series, I should say. We started out in 2014, and now we're into a brand new decade.
Well, it's the seventh year.
Oh yeah, seventh year now. Oh, we're seriously racking them up. And well, we had the excitement of the new car last season in the Audi. We're now into its sophomore season, and now we've got the damage models to look forward to as well. And also we've got some new liveries, like this one. This is Dave Baker in his CQR Pure Sim car going through the middle of this Mid-Ohio circuit. So plenty for us to get through, and of course the format remains the same: 3 20-minute races plus the reverse grids too. So the long journey starts now, and looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. This is our first proper season of it, of course, following on from the Winter Series at the back end of last year.
Well, indeed, and I think there'll be a lot of drivers really eager to make an impression, especially in the first meeting of the season. Unfortunately, I think I have to restart my computer, so I'll be back soon.
Well, while he does that, we can run you through some of the familiar and not so familiar entries that are on the grid for this campaign. Wojciech Savidovic is the reigning champion. He is able to do it again at Daytona last season in one of the closest fought championship finales we've had covering the series on the channel. And right now he's currently on provisional pole. Ross Balfour currently in P2, familiar name really. He's been in this series for the last few seasons. Jake Blackhall is currently in provisional third on the qualifying grid, and he's driving for CQR Club from Australia as well. Relatively familiar name. Then Jack Cedric for Apex Racing Team. He was the one that had the championship, almost won at Daytona, but then it was taken away from him right towards the end of the race when Wojciech Savidovic got his hands on it. Dave Baker, he's a real familiar driver there, he is. And then we've got, of course, Ash Sutton, Charlie Eastwood, Kevin Dempsey, Jason Cooper, and Tim Stabani completing the top 10. So that's the state of the qualifying session at the moment, as we've got just a couple of seconds to go. I think we've got 58 cars registered for this first race of the season, which is going to be remarkable. But while we've got the final few seconds of the qualifying session coming in, I was just going to bring in Sam Kumo, who's once again going to be tasked with trying to keep across everything, if he doesn't mind. He'll also be doing the reverse grid for this broadcast as well, which with 58 cars or so, Sam, is going to be quite a responsibility.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit preoccupied here, because it seems like I'm not getting the overlay right now, so if you don't mind, I would like to keep fixing that one.
Yeah, I'll carry on about that. Yeah, we've got the reverse grid, which usually goes between 20 or so cars in the midfield, and then all the way down to a full -1. It basically means that it stops the person that finishes as the last classified finisher having an advantage of being at the front of the grid if they got a full. So we'll do a full -1, and then if it lands on them, then they will be on the pole position. That's how as big as it gets. Other familiar drivers in this series, as we look outside the top 10, Alex Simpson for Apex Racing Team. He's back at it again for a full campaign. Currently 14th on the grid. Jamie Rushworth, Season 4 champion. That's all the way back in 2014. He's racing for CQR Pure Sims this season. Some of the drivers that did exceptionally well last season. Automech in the debut season of the Audi did very well. And the likes of Adam Hadfield and Luke Cooper driving for Automech this season. And just scrolling down the timing screens, looking at a few other drivers that are in here. Boosted have got a contingent in again. And also for this season, TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport. We see plenty of them in the World GT Championship on a Monday. And they're now giving a crack at the BSRTC, so at the ARLTCR. So that won't be the last time I've called it that, even one season on. So check a flag out. And yeah, apologies for the issues that we've got with the overlay at the moment. Not too sure what's going on there, but nonetheless, the top 10 is as follows: Wojciech Savidovic on pole, Ash Sutton with a very late lap to get into second place. That's the front row. Row 2 is Ross Balfour in 3rd and Jake Blackwell 4th for CQR Club. Jack Sedgwick 5th, Dave Baker in his customary 6th place with a late lap there, 1 minute 29.4 to get into P6. Then Charlie Eastwood, Keith Dempsey, Jason Cooper and Tim Stabani, the German, completing the top 10. Then we've got Peter Dempsey for Turn 3 Motorsport Yellow in 11th. The Irishman there. Then Michael Evdoka, Josh Thompson. Winner last time out on Monday in the World GT Championship at Silverstone in the Enduro there. Then Alex Simpson, 14th. Ross McFarlane, 15th. Nicky Meredith in 16th place. Ben Palmer, 17th. Adam Hadfield starting in P18. Jamie Rushworth, 19th. And Jake Robertson completing the top 20. Then it's Damien Owen Harris in 21st. Connor Praise in 22nd. Pete Newman, 23rd, 24th for Matt Bunn. Kevin Carlisle, 25th for SDK Gaming. Nagy Daniel, Instant Driving Academy, 26th. Then George Simmons, Mike Horder, Luke Cooper, then Tim Greven, Jack Stiles, Pete Harrod, Paolo Preto, Adam McNally, Johnny Adam in 35th place. He's from Scotland as well. I'm going to double check on that to see if that's a former British touring car driver. Then Adam Hedgecock, Mark Johnston, Simon Field for Boosted Motorsport, John Roberts, Jose Malbran in the Fiercely Forward car starting in 40th. Then we've got James Holman, Mark Woodhouse, Mads Borghay Anderson, and then the rest of them, Lee Berridge, Rob Barrable, Michael Blake, Rob Graham, Kip Stevens, Borghay Villegas, Rob Sutherland, Mark Jones, Craig Williams, Tyler Vickery, Dirk Rexy, Rob Jackson, Bram Clace, Scott Malcolm, and Sean Gardner. So that is how the grid lines up for the opening race of the season. And of course, we do have the reverse grid to throw into the equation as well. So watch out for that. And the green light's on for the first race of the season. Great start by Wojciech Savidovic. Ash Sutton in 2nd. Ross Balfour in 3rd place as they go through the first corner. It's as you were in that regard. Keith Dempsey's gained 1 place. Tim Stabani, good start from the German. He's up 2 positions as they go into the keyhole for the first time. Sutton and Savidovic going for the lead straight away. Oh, and there's a spin towards the rear. A few cars going off, but it's wheel to wheel for the lead. Sutton versus Savidovic, CQR Pure Sims versus Apex Racing Team. This isn't going to be the last time we see a battle between these two top teams. At the end of the straight, it is Sutton that leads, so the CQR Pure Sims car leapfrogs the reigning champion. Now up to the top of the hill, back down we go, and Ross Balfour, he fancies his chances of getting into 2nd. We do notice in this series that teams like to go for the same colours, and CQR Pure Sims and Apex Racing Team both going for the turquoise blue. Going to be difficult to differentiate between those two as the season goes on. But as we head down Thunder Valley, it is Sutton, Savidovic, Balfour, Blackhall, Sedgwick, and it's Baker, then Keith Dempsey, then Jason Cooper, Tim Stabani, Peter Dempsey, completing the top 10. Big loser at the start was Charlie Eastwood. He's lost 4 places in the early going. Very difficult to get too many overtakes done here. It's going to be the look of the draw in terms of drivers making mistakes and whatnot, but end of the opening lap, CQR Pure Sims leads the way. Dave Baker here in 6th place, right where he started. Biggest movers at the end of the opening lap. Craig Setup Shops, Tim Greven, who's up 7 places. Pete Harrod at 5 places too in the CQR Club car. Simon Field also getting a good start in his boosted car too, so plenty of movement in the field in the early going, and all those positions in the midfield could be crucial when it comes to the reverse grid later on. Here comes Dave Baker. He's now trying to get past Jack Sedgwick going into the right-hander at the end of the straight. Former champion in this series back in 2014. Oh, drifting the Audi through there, but it looks like he's going to get the move done nonetheless, and up the inside he goes. Baker into P5, he's on the move. Next up for him is Jake Blackwell, who is 8/10 of a second away. Great shot there as they go over the top of the hill. Johnny Adams also gained 7 places in the early going. These Audi RS3 TCR LMS cars are all front-wheel drive. Quite difficult to get away from the standing start, but these drivers are used to that. They've driven the Kia Optima before, and there's a problem for Jamie Rushworth. Jamie Rushworth tumbling down the order here. What has happened to the former champion? Not too sure, but regardless, he is down the order now. Jamie Rushworth, he won't be happy with that at all. 3 minutes in the books for the first race. It is a 20-minute race. And usually for race 2 and race 3, they then revert back to laps. So they work out how many laps it takes in race 1. And then for race 2 and race 3, we usually go back to laps. Adam Hadfield driving for Automech. They are racing in the red and white livery today, a change from a lot of the blue that we're seeing in and around the field. He has gained 1 place. He is one of the drivers that I believe will be competing in the Pro-Am category. To make sure there's fights all over the field, there's Pro and there's Pro-Am categories. As Charlie Eastwood has a little look at getting past Peter Dempsey, and it looks like Dempsey might lose out to Josh Thompson here. Goes around the outside. A little bit of mirror rubbing there, but Josh Thompson nonetheless gets through. So that's Craig Setup Shop's number 69 up into 11th place. 2 places gained for the man from the Isle of Man. We won't be seeing any TT action this season. That's been cancelled due to the current coronavirus climate. Quarter of the way through this opening race of the season then in the ARLTCR on the iRacing Esports Network. Adam Bath here with Sam Kumo on the cameras, hoping to be joined by Andrew Woodhouse at some point as well, as soon as he resolves his issues. But over the line we go then. Ash Sutton start lap 3 of the race, or 3 laps completed I should say. 129.69, fastest lap of the race from the former British Touring Car champion. And the Jack Sears Trophy on his debut campaign. The award for the Rookie of the Year. Then ended up taking the crown in a closely fought contest with Colin Turkington in 2017. Turkington's since then has won the last 2. They themselves, TOCA, have had rounds cancelled due to the ongoing situation. Michael Evdoka, driving for Texense Fitstar Motorsport, is ahead of a very close battle between Ben Palmer and Alex Simpson, and also Ross McFarlane going into the right-hander here. Very close between these 2. It's a pretty old CQR livery. I'm not sure if it's still the same now. I believe it's the livery of the CQR Club. Indeed it is. So CQR Club remaining in their yellow and black.
Sam Fitzpatrick is in.
And we're joined in the commentary box by none other than Sam Fitzpatrick, who has got some of his cars in the field today, Sam.
Yes, I hope that they're doing well. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure they will do well. Thanks for having me along. Of course, Mid-Ohio, brilliant circuit, and yeah, been a pretty good race to start off the season. And yeah, should be a very close remaining 15 minutes or so that we've got left of this race. Sutton seemingly pulling a tiny bit of a gap. Not the biggest slipstream circuit in the world, this, but I mean, you can't count out Mr. 6-time behind him.
Definitely not. And those 2 had a fantastic scrap at the start of the race. And since then, Sutton has just started to pull out a little bit of a gap as Wojciech has a massive wobble under braking going into the hairpin. He's able to just about rescue it, but that's not at all what you want if you're trying to catch the car in front. Last time around, though, Jack Sedgwick, who pushed Wojciech all the way, fastest lap of the race on that last lap, a 129.4, and he's got Dave Baker in his sights. One thing about this Mid-Ohio circuit is you do see a lot of this. We'll probably have a field spread of not too much when the checker flag comes out. You see a lot of line of stern racing here.
Yeah, you really do. It's tricky to overtake around this place, especially if you just got a little bit of a slipstream from the car ahead. Not too many big stops necessarily. I kind of think of this place as the American Hungarian, because you got the kind of half long straight. But yeah, it's not easy particularly anywhere, and you've got some good elevation change as well, as they're now negotiating around this middle sector of the lap. So yeah, should be close for all the races, and I think for the reverse grids, it's going to be tricky for these top guys to get back up, especially if we have a big reverse grid, which is very possible. Of course, a few minuses in there when we've got almost 60 cars on the grid. Could be problematic for these guys. But yeah, it's kind of just line astern at the moment, but certainly, if Baker or Cedric want to get their way up, they've got to start making some moves in order to put some pressure on the podium sitters.
just about halfway through this opening race then. Biggest movers, Tim Greven for Craig Setup Shop up 10 places, James Holman also up 10, Rob Graham for Automech Am, he is up 12, at least that's what it says on my timing screen anyway. I haven't got all of the cars on the screen because there are so many of them, 58 registered for this session, with of course the new damage model coming into force for this season, this new build. Haven't seen it totally used yet. Sam, race 1 is usually one of the more calmer of the three, as Keith Dempsey and Jason Cooper are very close going into the right-hander. That's Dempsey in P7, Jason Cooper 8. Automech, and there's contact in front between Cedric and Baker. It looks like the runner-up from last season is starting to apply the pressure to the former champion in front of him. Cedric with the number 2 after finishing runner-up last season.
Yes, and by the way, Dave Baker's still number 6. Oh, as that's a big slide for Dempsey. Front wheel drive going to help him out in that situation. However, he might still lose the position going into these next couple of corners.
So there we go. Oh no, problem for Jake Blackhall. The Aussie has vanished. I hope that isn't just me, but the CQR Club car is tumbling down the order. Oh, contact. That is Timster Barney in the 22 car getting past there. And the German is up into P9. So race order with just over 5 minutes to go. Sutton leading, Savidovic second, Balfour third, Baker fourth, Sedgwick 5th, then Cooper, Dempsey, Charlie Eastwood, Tim Stabani and Josh Thompson in 10th position as someone takes out a lot of cones at the back, Sam.
Yes, and that was a little bit of an excursion off the circuit. Of course, do have the instant limit as well in this series, so you don't want to pick up too many of those 1Xs, but certainly do feel for the cones in that situation will be, of course, reset for these guys. See, after a little bit of an issue on that last lap for some of these guys in the top 10, does seem to just spread out a little bit once again.
Of course, at the end of this race, of course, if you're just tuning in, we have got the reverse grid to contend with too. So we will get the wheel out after that one, after this one, and see who's going to be starting at the front of the grid again.
Cedric trying to go around the outside of Dave Baker at the moment, goes very wide through the final couple of corners, keeps it on the circuit at least, Cedric. However, he did lose that momentum in order to try to get past Baker. That's a really tricky position that he's trying to get past. I mean, Baker, the reason why his number is number 6 is because he always finishes in 6th place. So it feels only right that Cedric does get past him eventually in this event, but no can do at the moment. They're now nearly 1 second behind the next car, which in this field, at least in this race, is a pretty hefty margin, so this fighting is hurting them just a bit.
We are back to a 3-man booth because we've got Andrew Woodhouse back with us.
Yeah, you have. I can't see any cars on my screen at all, though.
All right.
Not one. But Sam was saying, cones are the innocent victims of motor racing, unfortunately.
Absolutely. They're loving real-life motorsport right now, the cones.
You've actually left us alone for a bit, yeah. So,
Sorry
guys, I'm going to be no help at all, I'm afraid. I'll come back for racing.
No worries. 3.5 minutes to go then here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the beginning of a mammoth season in the ARLTC. Thanks for joining us on the iRacing Esports Network. There is a massive train going on for 15th place. Peter Dempsey in the Turn 3 Motorsport yellow car has got Alex Simpson right up his boot lid. Then after that, it is Adam Hadfield. We've got Michael Evdoka in there too in the TechSense Fitstyle car. In fact, that is Evdoka leading the round, isn't it? So, as he gets a little bit of a touch from Peter Dempsey, it's Evdoka, Dempsey, Simpson, Hadfield, then Connor Perez, and then Jake Robertson in the STK Gaming car just towards the rear there. So we have got quite a big train on, and I think the way things are going, there's going to have to take a mistake or Peter Dempsey catching Michael Evdoka off guard for him to get up the inside. This is probably one of the key overtaking points here, Sam, the hairpin here.
Oh, and he nearly managed to go for it. Still almost got a part of his car alongside, and Docker just leaving him a tiny amount of room on the inside, and does almost give Dempsey a bit of an opportunity. Now, Docker does cover that inside line going into the next car. In fact, it's Dempsey having to defend from Simpson just behind. Trying his absolute best to hang on to that place so he can go after the others later on. Simpson cannot get past it. Dempsey stays ahead for now. Docker getting a bit of respite, at least for a moment. We've got, Hadfield and Paris, by the way. It's pronounced Paris. We did get some name requests on the other day. He was racing in the trucks. Can't remember what series it was. But anyone who was watching Apex Racing TV, I think on Sunday, I would have seen the truck racing that we had on the off-road circuits. Fantastic addition that to iRacing. And he did pretty well. So if he does fall off the circuit, then trust him to still have some decent pace.
Well, we were looking at some turn 3 cars there in Peter Dempsey. One just up in front of them was off the circuit, and that was Charlie Eastwood. He was running in P9 at the start of the lap. He's now down the order in 25th place. If we've got eyes on him, I'm not sure if we do or not, but he's got a bit of front end damage. That's our first real look at the damage on the real life damage that we've now got on the in this series, part of the new build for iRacing, where we'll have parts flying off left, right, and centre. Hopefully we can bring that to you in some of the free races today. And all of a sudden, Sam, it looks like Wojciech Savidovic is really starting to up the ante when it comes to getting past Ash Sutton, and he might have to, because this looks like, if my times are to go anything by, this might just be the final lap of the race.
No, I don't think it is. I think we've got a while to go yet. Still 5 more minutes
it's
to go.
a 20-minute race, isn't it?
20-minute race. It's not as though you've been doing 6 seasons of this or anything, is it?
Blunder on my part, there you go.
We're glad that it's not 15 minutes. We've had other stays which have been 15 minutes, to be fair, but usually allows the battles to evolve a bit more. Of course, and gives the front guys a bit more of an opportunity come race 2 and race 3 to get up through the order. But you're absolutely right, Savidovic coming in late on. Kind of see it every single time, though. You always kind of count him out a little bit, and you don't think he's necessarily the fastest out there, and then suddenly he's right there, and you would not have bet against him getting this race 1 victory. Balfour's trying to go with these guys. He's 7/10 of a second behind, so a couple of corners of battling, and that gap's down to nothing. But I think we're going to see the same thing here. Tricky to overtake, and Savidovic is going to have to be very patient. I'm sure he's thinking, though, a second place would be a great way to start the season. Oh, and side by side just behind as well, Baker and Cedric. Cedric might finally get past Baker on this occasion. And he has.
Yeah, very close. But straight away, Jason Cooper is back on the offensive, and they're going to go side by side down the back straight here. Automech on the inside, and Cooper, you can run around the outside here, so this could favour the Apex Racing Team car. Let's have a look into the right-hander. Both superly late on the brakes. And Cedric, is he going to get it done? He is. He's up the inside, but once again, this circuit, the way it flows, it will go in the favour of the Automech car of Cooper. Great racing between these two, but it's just Cedric that hangs on there.
Yeah, so staying in that 6th place. Hopefully Baker can stay there, because I mean, come on, to finish 6th place, that's car number 6. With the reputation that he's got, that would be quite some way to start the season. Of course, if you finished in 6th race in every race of the season, you'd almost certainly win the title. That is just how this series works with the reverse grid. So consistency certainly does pay off. But Cooper maybe a little bit faster than that, because they got Dempsey as well, just behind. I wonder how...
just to put in, Sam, just for a second. I think I saw stats once of a champion's performance in this series, and I think one of the highest I've ever seen was an average finish of about 7th. So
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd pretty much say that your facts are correct on that one.
Well, I can't really remember how many races we usually do in one of these March to November jobs. Well, it's usually around 100. And
we did 102, didn't we, once, I think? And
usually, I think the big guys, the big hitters like Savidovic and that, they barely win more than 15 a season. So the maths tell you that they're pretty much winning one in 15 or whatever. So that's not much by the way this season goes. And right now, it is all to play for, of course, because the slate is wiped clean. So looking forward to cover the season, and with what 2.5 minutes to go, it's shaping up nicely to be just that. We've got a lot of different cars represented in the top 10. We've got CQR Pure Sims, we've got Apex Racing Team, Ross Balfour, not sure who he's representing, but we've got Blackhawk for CQR Club, Jason Cooper, who we were watching there battling away with Baker for Automech, Dempsey in the Turn 3 Motorsport. They're a new team, new outfit anyway, in the ARLTC after this season. Josh Thompson is representing Craig's setup shop. And of course, TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport doing well too in Ross McFarlane. They've got a lot of teams in the World GT Championship at the moment. They're now having a crack at the ARLTCR.
I'm gonna have to go old school a little bit if I'm going to be of any use to you guys in this last couple of minutes. But there's a hell of a battle going on down the field for sort of 35th, 36th place.
Just having a look at it now. Yeah, indeed. You've got the likes of Woodhouse. You've got Josh Melbourne, Pete Newman, John Roberts. At least I hope that's who the battle is that you were watching earlier.
It's like Charlie Eastwood, yeah, Nadia, Neorge, I think that is pronounced. Kip Stevens, John Roberts. Yeah, it's around that area.
A few crumpled bonnets. Anyway, Charlie Eastwood in the Turn 3 Motorsports Red with Nagy Daniel, the Hungarian. And who's this up the inside? That is the fiercely forward Brazilian. That is Paulo Preto. And it looks like he's got through. And he's taking his teammate with him, potentially. As Charlie Eastwood gets overtaken by a few cars going into the right hand at the end of the straight. You can also see on the windscreen strips, if it's red, they are in the Pro category. If it's blue, they are in the Pro-Am category, so that's one way of differentiating between them. I believe on the overlay, if it is up and running, then we have the same thing at all. So yeah.
Sam, I think Pure Sim and Apex Racing must have not had a conflab on the liveries this time.
Not sure if Sam can see the paints. I'm not too sure on that one, but
I'm not sure.
Oh, if you can though, Adam, you know what I mean on that one. Everyone else can see it.
Think of a colour, and they both went for blue, but I'm sure they're both seeing red at the moment because Wojciech Savidovic is going to the outside of Ash Sutton, going into the right hand at the end of the straight. Is this the moment? As we start the final lap, this is definitely the final lap of the race where Wojciech Savidovic tries to take the lead.
Look at that! You'd swear they were teammates. Oh, 3 wide, my goodness!
Ross Balfour on the outside. Oh my goodness me! And Savidovic has been boxed in, and now all of a sudden it's Ross Balfour that's through into second.
Stutson pulls away ever so slightly. That could be the race for Stutson right at the end, and Balfour gets ahead of Savidovic. I don't think Cedric was able to get past Blackhall, though he did give it a very good try. It all came down to that turn 3 on this last lap of the race. And it looks like Ash Stutson is going to take it and take the championship lead.
Our first winner of 2020, coming through the final corner. It's going to be the CQR Pure Sims car that's going to do it, Andrew.
Yeah, Ash Sutton then comes across and he takes the win at Mid-Ohio. First race of the season. Goes to the 2017 British Touring Car Champion, Ross Balfour. Brilliant stuff there by the Northern Irishman. And Wojciech Savidovic with a little bit of the bubbly in third place for Le Champion.
There you go. And I'm sure Wojciech would have liked the big trophy to go along with it, but instead it's the bottom step of the podium when it looked like for a brief moment he was going to get the top prize in the opening round of the season. But a podium is still a podium nonetheless, and of course that will be a few points in terms of the showdown credits. At least I hope that's still a thing when we get to the showdown later on in the season, where the points are reset and we fight it out for the championship with the ARLTCR Elite. But fantastic race.
Can I point out as well, like not that I'm really complaining, because we've seen sometimes the complete opposite, but Sam, that was a dubiously well-behaved race, suspiciously, wasn't it?
It was a bit, yeah. We didn't really see a whole lot of the damage model, which was a shame. I'm sure iRacing won't be very pleased with this, seeing that we are on the iRacing.
Oh, the reverse grid races will be.
Yeah, I think we're going to make up for it probably. But I mean, it did get a little bit feisty amongst the top guys at the end, didn't it? A little bit of taps. which if they're going to be that aggressive at the start of the season, hate to see at the end of the championship, perhaps at Daytona for round 14 of the season. But yeah, good driving from them all, and I think all these top guys so experienced. They know just keep it in a straight line, score the points, and then fingers crossed for races 2 and 3. Maybe a little bit more chaotic further down.
And would you believe David Baker finished his 6th position?
Finish where he started. Start as you mean to go on, Dave. Well, so cars come back to the pits at the end of a pretty interesting first encounter here at Mid-Ohio. We can run you through the finishing order. And it's Ash Sutton that wins by 0.2 of a second over Ross Balfour with a bit of a nudge and grab at the end. Maybe not a smash and grab to get past Wojciech Savidovic, but he was able to find the room to get by anyway. Savidovic completes the podium. 4th for Jake Blackhall. I was worried that he was falling down the order earlier, but he was able to rematerialise, and the 97 car gets the best of the rest spot. Jack Sedgwick in 5th. Dave Baker in his customary 6th, as you were mentioning. Then Jason Cooper, Keith Dempsey, Josh Thompson in his return to the ARLTC in 9th. And Ross McFarlane completing the top 10. 11th place for Ben Palmer. Tim Stabani in the 22 car, finishing in 12th. 13th for Michael Avdoka. Then it's Peter Dempsey in 14th. Connor Parise in 15th. Jake Robertson 16th. Tim Greven 17th. Then George Simmons, Damian Harris, Kevin Carlisle completing the top 20 there. Matt Bunn in 21st. Adam Hadfield in 22nd in his Automech car. Turn 3 Motorsports Yellows James Holman finishing in 23rd from 41st on the grid. Decent showing there from James with 18 places gained. Luke Cooper 24th, Craig Williams 25th, Mike Horder the Welshman in 26th, 27th Adam Hedgecock in the boosted SimSport car. Jack Stiles, another Texense Fitztime Motorsport regular there in 28th place. 27th I should say. Lee Berridge in 28th, Mark Woodhouse 29th, and Pete Harrod in 30th. Then it's Mark Johnston, Jack Stiles, Robert Barrable in 33rd, Jose Malbran 34th, Simon Fields and Pete Newman, two stalwarts of this series, 35th and 36th respectively. John Roberts, he too, and Jamie Rushworth in 38th, Kip Stevens 39th, Jorge Villegas in 40th, then Rob Sutherland, Paolo Preto, Charlie Eastwood, Tyler Lugo Vickery, Matt Sanderson in 45th, Sean Garner 46th after starting in 58th place on the grid. 47th for Mark Jones, Anna McNally 48th. Not too sure what happened to Adam, but he did start 34th, ended up losing 14 places to drop down there. 49th for Rob Graham, then it's Dirk Reski in 50th. And then the cars that finished one up down on the more. Not sure what happened to Nagy, the Hungarian. He finished 51st. Johnny Adam, who had a good start to the race after starting in 35th, finished in 52nd. Don't know what happened to Alex Simpson, but the former runner-up in 2018 finished in 53rd. Nicky Meredith, 7 laps down, 54th. Rob Jackson, 11 laps down. Scott Malcolm also falling by the wayside. Graham Clayson, not the best start to the season for Michael Blake. He ended up finishing stone dead last in 58th place. Right then, one thing that I do hope is working is the reverse grid. And we're going to get that up now and see who's going to be starting where for race 2, another 20-minute race coming up. And for that, we'll bring in Sam Kumo for this one. And Sam, let's see who's going to be starting at the front for this one.
Yeah, I mean, the reverse grid will always work, so there's no fear of that.
Maybe Teflon or something, I'm not sure.
Do you know what? It will be a big one. 40.
40, that's Jorge Villegas in the Fiercely Forward Audi. He's on the pole for race 2 with Kip Stevens.
Fiercely forward in race 2 then, won't he? He'll be right.
Oh, yeah. The top 5 completed by Kip Stevens, Jamie Rushworth, John Roberts and Pete Newman, so he'll have a lot of ARLTCR regulars around him. I don't know if it will be a baptism of fire for him or not, but we'll have to wait and see on that in that regard.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's been hectic start to the season then, here on the iRacing Esports Network. And yeah, stick with us after the break when we're going to have 2 more races tonight from Mid-Ohio. We'll see you after the break.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howley down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Paravolca. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the Paravolca. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
inside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press. Sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Kroenke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Then Jamie Rushworth in 3rd, John Roberts 4th, Pete Newman 5th, Simon Field 6th, Jose Malburan in 7th, Rob Barrable in 8th, Jack Stiles 9th, and Mark Johnston completing the top 10. And as the rest of the field cycle through your screen, it was a 40-car reverse grid, which means that the race winner, well, the podium finishers from race 1, Savidovic, Balfour and Sutton are starting 38th, 39th and 40th on the grid in what is a 58-car field. It's quite remarkable, really. I don't know where the cars in 58 for starting, but they're going to be way back. Here we go.
Well, Alex Simpson's down in 53rd place. We'll ask him if he had to get the binoculars out, but the 5 red lights have gone out now. And O'Donnell away from the line, ahead of the 2-times champion Kip Stevens, the veteran. Jamie Rushworth as well, a former champion, coming into view. Through into 2nd place he goes. So the Pure Sim car is up into 2nd place, ahead of Stevens, who's a privateer, it appears, this season. John Roberts is in 4th place for Boosted Motorsport. Oh, off, and there he goes. Well, said his name and he's gone off.
Oh, not the best start for those guys there.
Oh, sideways, ultimate car in turn 1. But I think he's got away with it. Side by side then. Rushworth trying to go around Jorge Ordonez. Jorge Ordonez Villegas. That's Colombian in the ARLTCR. And I'd like to say that Stevens is the first man from Bhutan, but I'm not quite sure about that. I'll have to check his sources on that one.
Oh.
Pete Harrod is in 6th position. Oh, Woodhouse dropping down the order. What's happened?
Yeah, the Team Mad car was definitely sideways going through the middle sector. I think he has got going again. Hopefully he hasn't picked up too much damage as we come back to the fight for the lead. O'Donnell doesn't look like he looks like he wants that lead back, and the fiercely forward car trying to get up the inside into the penultimate corner.
Yeah, what he should do now is really try and stick with Jamie Rushworth as much as possible. CQR Pure Sims in the blue, white and black colour scheme of their title sponsor. Not to be confused with the blue, white and black colour scheme of Apex Racing. Ordonez grimly hanging on to 2nd place then. I wonder if Kip Stevens is going to try and force the issue into the hairpin.
Thinks
he does
about
not.
it. Here comes Rob Barrable as well, the Irishman in the Turn 3 Motorsports yellow car, getting a decent run on the exit.
Yeah, and good to see quite a few Irish drivers in the field. Barrable, Mike Johnston, Pete Dempsey, Simon Field, Keith Dempsey, Charlie Eastwood and Nicky Meredith representing Ireland. I hope you had a good St Patrick's Day, as good as it could be. And off goes O'Donnell.
Oh no!
Oh, he's back on. Bad rejoin potentially, but just about gets away with it as well. Bit of contact between Barrable and Barrable and I think that's Pete Newman, isn't it? Going door to door. Oh, off! Barrable into the barrier goes Barrable. Might be unbearable for Barrable.
Oh god. Oh, that's a massive shame for the Turn 3 Motorsports yellow car that was really mixing it up with the big boys at the front.
Oh, look at the SDK gaming car there.
It's Simmons versus Hedgecock going into the final few corners.
Now that's a livery I approve of. Alex Simpson will know exactly that I approve of that livery. Connor Parise, looks like he's had some issues maybe. Oh, what's that?
It's Williams, I think. Is it Craig
flying
Williams?
everywhere. Has Craig Williams lost it?
The Craig setup shop car is dropping down the order like a stone on my screen.
Not quite sure really. Rushworth still leads the way. And there's
That's Ordonez off again.
Ordonez, yeah, he's back on Villegas.
He's
That's
got his
his
teammate.
teammate.
Yeah, that's the Argentinian Jose Malburan going through.
Yeah, so good to see a South American contingent here. Also have the Brazilian Paulo Preto in one of those yellow and black cars. Lovely livery on them. A lot of great liveries, I must say. I don't think anyone's got a bad one. Nice chrome on the side. SDK Gaming in the fluorescent yellow. The Rossi yellow, I like to. refer to it as. Josh Simmons is experienced now in this series, and he's up to 8th place. It says he's getting 15 places from where he started. I'm not sure whether that's. Well, yeah, it looks like that looks legit to me.
Here's Lee Berridge, who's in 6th place. 7 places gained for the Booster Sim Sport car. He's got Mark Johnston just in front of him.
Yeah, another fluorescent.
Jack Stars, yeah, another fluorescent car. It's almost like Boosted with the trendsetters for them back in the day.
Oh yeah. Of course, iRacing brought a lot to the table in terms of livery design.
A lot of damage to that car in 2nd place. That's sorry, in the lead, Jamie Rushworth. That's.
I'll see if that's phantom damage or is that's Newman, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
that's Newman. Sorry. Yeah, Rushworth's car looks all bent up. I'm sure that's not. He hasn't hit anything, surely.
Wasn't one. Ah, it's a lapsed car. Oh, Meredith. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Ah.
As you can see on the relative at the bottom right of your picture, that is Nicky Meredith in the Turn 3 Motorsports Red. A lot of blue cars, as you can see in the
A
field.
lot of white, blue, and black cars out there. What's
What?
happening?
What was the colour that we started? It was red, wasn't it, that everyone went for a couple of seasons ago, and everyone or was it yellow that everyone went for that eventually?
Yeah, and then we changed to blue eventually. Yeah, it was all bit of kick clashing going on in the ARLTCR, shall we say?
Well, Meredith gets out of the way.
Oh, Simmons trying to make another move on Lee Berridge, can't quite get that one done, but Rushworth leads by 3 seconds at the moment. Oh, crash! And there goes the Texas Pitstein Motorsport car into the wall, and that's Jack Stiles. That's one of the team principals.
He was a real innocent bystander and all that. That was as a result of Berridge and Simmons both going off, and then the Pitstein car just getting clouted into the side. Really, that was a massive shame.
By the way, massive kudos to whoever made those window stripes with the big Pro and the big AM on it. It means that even me, even someone as stupid as I am, can see who's who. So props to that.
And there you go at the top of the screen as well. Red,
oh, just in case you needed any further clarification. There it is. And also that represents the colours on the timing tower as well for the viewers at home. So the AMs, of course, looking like they're doing very, very well at the moment. And here comes... Now that's... Oh, wow! That's Palmer into the side of Bunn. So Bunn goes off. No, that's... Wait a minute. No, sorry, that's Palmer that's off, isn't it? I'm used to Bunn driving the yellow CQR car, Adam.
And there was more cars off as well. I think there was some of the Turn 3 cars that were tumbling across the infield. Here's Josh Thompson. He's up the inside of Bunn into the right-hander.
Oh, gosh!
These two have shared a go-kart track together. Now they're trying to knock 7 bells out of each other.
Have that, he says.
But here's the reigning champion, Wojciech Savinovic. He's in...
What a start!
13th place, 25 places gained after, what, 7 minutes?
What an amazing start by Wojciech Savinovic. He was starting near the back, of course.
Now, do you remember...
Where did he finish in race 1?
3rd. He finished on the podium.
So, yeah, starting in 38th place. That is correct. Now, Ash Sutton's up 15 places. Alex Simpson's up quite several places as well.
Do you remember a couple of seasons ago, Ash Sutton started stone dead last and managed to end up winning it. There's 3 wide just in front of us there going into the keyhole.
You can see Dempsey as well, 16th place. The Turn 3 Motorsport Red machine. He's gained 15 places from where he started as well.
A lot of green in terms of the positions gained in this one. Here's a fight.
So that's Keith Dempsey. So Simmons and Johnston, and Johnston in the fluorescent yellow car and Simmons in the fluorescent yellow car. Number 7 is George Simmons.
I call it the Hivers car. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it says number 63 on your screen. So.
But they've been nudging each other all the way through that middle sector, and it's allowed Kit Stevens to pull away a little bit. Now here comes the South American contingent. That is Jose Malbran in 7th, and then Adam Hedgecock for Boosted in 8th. Now, through the final corner we go, and onto the front straight. We are quickly approaching half race distance. Adam Hadfield's in the
final
pits.
corner issues.
Looks like he might have towed, to be fair.
Oh,
That's a shame for the Automet car.
Hadfield might be the first real victim of the damage model. Oh, contact.
And off goes Berridge.
Lee Berridge deep into the grass. Can he get back on? Yes, he can.
Now look at this. This is wheel to wheel between Ordonez and Owen. And it's Josh Thompson up the inside of Wojciech Savidovic as well.
Well, Damien, he's down as Damien Owen Harris, so I imagine it's... I'm not quite sure which one's correct, but there we go. Here's Wojciech Savidovic down the back straight. See if he can put a move on Connor Parisi.
On the outside. That's brave. But if you expect anyone to do it, it'd be the reigning champion. Savidovic up the inside and... Oh, look at this. Now we're looking for the rear of Matt Bunn. He's got the best seat in the house for all this. And Wojciech Savidovic just gets through. So he's up to 12th place. He's got Josh Thompson, who just overtook him on that lap, trying to get past Jorge Ordonez in 10th place. And it looks like he's trying to get by as urgently as he can.
Yeah, and we can see Bunn right on the back of Paris here. And Paris does the sensible thing, holds the inside line, and there's a move there by Josh Thompson. He forces his way through on Ordonez. Just got his just got a car's width and managed to get through. So the Craig's set-up shop car. There's a few of them out there. There's Tim Grieven, and there's Craig Williams himself. So at least 3 of them out there. So good stuff. Few drivers who came to grief then at the beginning. It looks like Michael Evdoka, Johnny Adam, Tim Stebani, John Roberts, Mike Horder, Rob Graham. Looks like a few of them are in a bit of difficulty.
Now this is a fight for 7th place. This is Mark Johnston versus Adam Hedgecock. It's going to be the battle of the late breakers into the right-hander, but then you can just sweep around the outside, which is what Mark Johnston's doing. There is plenty of grip out there, and then we see what we've been seeing all the way through tonight, a lot of two-wide action through this middle sector.
Yeah, it's always good to see Mark Johnston out there. He's been a veteran of this series, hasn't he, Adam? But he's not always managed to do the full season, so I wonder if this could be a good start for him in 2020. P7 for Johnston then. And it's off! Crash! Into the wall goes.
Oh no!
Dempsey's. That's Keith Dempsey, and that might be knackered. I'm afraid that one into the wall, and the front left corner of the car absolutely destroyed.
Oh, look at this!
He's pushing on him now. That's Pete Dempsey. And he's pushing on the back of Matt Bunn there.
Seeing a lot of crumpled bonnets, something that we didn't see too much of in race 1. They're definitely having to get physical to get the move done.
It's Harris then. Car number 503, he's in 9th place. Josh Thompson is not too far behind, and Wojciech Savidovic. So I hope Damien's got the rear view mirrors in good condition, because he's going to need it any second now.
I think I'd just turn the relative off if I was him, I think.
2 of the fastest and most aggressive drivers in the series.
Block out the noise, as it were, of those 2 coming towards you at a rate of knots, just in front of these.
Had to do with 16 cars out on the track, to be fair.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought it was bad in the IMSA race I was doing last night on iRacing, and that was only a couple of cars, a bit of lap traffic as well. These guys have got all of them pretty much level playing field. Of course, it is an open setup series.
Thompson sliding the car through that middle sector and over the crest to the penultimate corner then. Yeah, it's very much, it's usually one line through here, through this last section, but can make a move work, but you really have to surprise the opponent. And a lot of these drivers are very experienced. They're not going to get caught out by that. Just how difficult is it, Adam, in order for the new drivers, the rookies in the series, such as the likes of Ordonez and Barrable and people like that, to really step up and perform at the level that they are doing?
It can take some time for them to adjust, as I think Kip Stevens has just been punted off by one of the newcomers. I think it was definitely one of the fiercely forward cars that got up the inside.
Well,
in the shot.
Punting off Kip Stevens is a bit of a rite of passage in this series, isn't it? Really.
I think I've done it.
I think I've done it. Don't think you've raced in this series properly. Oh my goodness! And there goes Ordonez.
Oh, he's hit the.
Oh, wheels gone. One of the wheels has come off. 3 wheels on his. Well, at least it looked like it. Has he got all 4 wheels on it?
I think it has still got 4 wheels on it.
I saw a wheel fly off, so I apologise there for that one. I definitely saw a wheel fly off.
Where's? Oh, that is.
Oh,
my
it's
goodness.
right. That is not a well judged manoeuvre at all. That was Eastwood. Oh, and he's gone round on the front of the Craig Setup Shop car.
And that crash that lasted for about 2 or 3 corners. That I think.
Yeah.
And the turn 3 motorsports cars. You were mentioning the question you said about getting to grips with this series. They've been basically whenever there's been a battle, they've been in it.
Look at this. Savidovic is really working on Thompson here.
Time's running out for the reigning champion. We've got what, just over 4 minutes to go here. Probably one of the shorter.
Thompson in car 69. Giggity. Wojciech Savidovic, car 1, numero 1, the Grand Fromage. But top 10 I think he'll be happy with. Given the start of his 2019 Winter Series campaign.
They somehow managed to end up being the champion there, where it didn't look like it was going to be possible. When it looked like Jack Sedgwick had it all wrapped up at Daytona, Wojciech Savidovic was able to come through and steal it right at the death.
A 6-time champion, it's possible that he might get 7 before Lewis Hamilton does at this rate.
These Audis are moving all over the place. It's great to see. These guys are really on the ragged edge.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fancy our chances in this field, to be fair. Not one bit. Drivers are really pushing these cars to the limits. The first few rounds of the season. It's respectful out there in the top 10. Jamie Rushworth leads the way, and his advantage is 1.6 seconds. So Pete Newman is reeling him back in slowly but surely. He gained half a second on that previous lap. So the former champion against the man who has been a showdown contender 2-3 times, Pete Newman. So he has fought for the title. Now he's in the AM category. Unbelievable, really, Adam, when considering. That shows how strong the field is when Pete Newman's considered to be an AM category driver.
Really is. Because what, 58 cars, you've got to have a spread somewhere, and Pete Newman might be a good shout for potential Pro-Am championship material this season. We'll have to wait and see.
I think for any one contender, I think there might be 20 more out there. Oh, look at this. That's Hedgecock and Thompson. Hedgecock into the side. The boosted motorsport car. Punted. Josh Thompson. And Wojciech Savidovic up into 9th place.
So we'll have
update on Ash Sutton as well. Adam, race 1 winner, is up to 18th from 40th on the grid. So good work by Ash Sutton.
2 other big movers as Savidovic goes for the move on Hedgecock here. I'll park that for a moment. Here he comes, the reigning champion up the inside into almost like clearways, this right-hander, and he's done it. He's through.
Yeah, and he's going to park it on the apex. Nicely done by Savidovic, and up into P8.
2 other big movers.
Smoke is absolutely billowing from the pit lane. I think there's a blown engine in there.
It's cooking in Lexington, Ohio, and it's an engine more than any meat, I think.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. It's polluting us. It's one of the Pro cars, and I think that is one of the TechSense cars. I think that might be Ross McFarlane. Indeed, it is. So, Ross McFarlane pluming smoke everywhere. That's a shame.
Not a good start to the season for the Scotsman. He's going to try and get round and finish within 2 laps of the leader, because if he does, he will score points.
Now, if you're asking what the format is, it is a 10-round campaign over 10 weeks. Then we have a 4-week showdown. I hear crashing. Not sure who it is. That might just be me.
No dice on that one, I'm afraid. I'm not sure.
Josh Thompson through on Hedgecock though. He's been able to get past the boosted car this time, so he's up into P9 now. Alex Simpson's also gained a lot of places.
Yeah, well played to him. Norwich Daniel has gained 24 places as 27 places as well. I think started in 51st.
Now here is Kip Stevens, and he's got Connor Paris right behind him in...
Oh!
It's an on-board shot. That's how close he is.
No, we're almost inside the Audi. And you can see the bonnet slightly flapping around though. He's crumpled, so you can see it lifting slightly when he brakes.
It's a bonnet all over the circuit, potentially if this is anything to go by. Final lap.
Yeah, that's Vidovic, the only one in the 29s that time round as well. So he's really hustling it around. So he's Newman, actually. Newman a fraction quicker, bit of contact into the hairpin. And then Savinovic decides he wants to try and capitalise on it between Harris and Mark Johnston.
Free wide isn't good at the best of times, but in the ARLTC it doesn't usually bode well.
Oh, careful!
Just pulling in front there, Mark Johnston.
Wow, and Josh Thompson's in on this as well. He'll be looking to gain a couple of positions on the last lap, the man from the Isle of Man. Around the outside then, at the top of the hill, goes Wojciech Svidovic. He's won this championship 6 times. And he's up into 7th place. He wants P6 here. He wants to try and take it from Mark Johnston.
Owen Harris trying to keep Thompson at bay, but Tomo's on the inside. And he just about pushes his way through. Jamie Rushworth's not too far away from taking the checkered flag.
Yeah, and Rushworth, well, look how close this is at the end. He really struggled for pace in the second half of the race, Jamie Rushworth, but he's going to take the win here at Mid-Ohio, ahead of Pete Newman and Pete Harrod. So, tremendous stuff at the front, and a great win for CQR. 1, 2, 3 with 3 different teams in their stable. CQR gets stronger and stronger. Their presence ramps up again in 2020, and they're going to be tough to beat in both championships, Adam.
They'll be definitely getting the camera out for that one. 3 different liveries, 3 different teams, all on 3 steps of the podium. It's going to be interesting to see how the other teams respond to their gauntlet that they've pretty much put down here in race 2. But yeah, great, fantastic race that was. Plenty of overtakes left, right and centre.
Ash Sutton and Ben Palmer, I think, swapping positions left, right and centre on the final couple of laps.
I think this is just, this ain't the race back to the pits,
well, I don't know, but it keeps, yeah. Weird, still updating on my screen for some people then.
But,
there it is, final results are locked in.
Good job by Bram Clace as well in the Simtech Racing car. He gained, I believe, 24 places to finish just outside the top 30.
Yeah, that is excellent work by the man from Belgium, picking his way through the carnage. Did Ross McFarlane get any points in the end?
The answer to that is he finished 3 laps down in the end, so no points for him. Mark Jones was the last classified finisher, but he'll be having to hope for a massive reverse grid if he wants to be on the pole, because of course we only have a full -1, so it'll have to be like a 50 or whatever for him to be on the pole, I think.
Even a driver as good as Alex Simpson could only make it to 36th place in that race, and that's how tough this was. And Jorge Ordonez Viegas found it the toughest of all, started on pole position, finished in 30th place. That is baptism of fire in the ARLTCR. So we're almost ready to bring you the finishing order from the second race of the day. And Adam, it's delivering so far this series, isn't it? Of course, we've only had 2 rounds, but if it's like this all the way through, I'm sure we're going to have a great season.
And it's a quickfire season too, as we mentioned. Yeah, just 10 regular rounds, and then we've got the 4 showdowns to end, 4 showdown race meetings to end it. So
that's why maybe people are being a little bit more decisive early on, maybe.
Yeah, you got to get the points on the board. It's almost like we've gone from a Test cricket match to a T20 within the space of a season. Sorry to drop that in there. Jamie Rushworth. Oh, cricket and motorsport. Who'd have thought it? Jamie Rushworth wins. Pete Newman second. Pete Harrod third, completing the podium. George Simmons in fourth for SDK Gaming. Jose Malbran getting fiercely forward in the top 5 at least. Then Mark Johnston in 6th. 7th for the reigning champion, Wojciech Savidovic. 2 top 10s for the reigning champion in the opening race meeting of the season. Josh Thompson in 8th, Damien Owen Harris in 9th, and Adam Hedgecock completing the top 10. And just look at that. Look at that top 10. We've got 4 Pro-Ams in there. So it shows you the high competitive nature of this series. Matt Bunn, number 11, finishing in P11. Car Triple 1, Kip Stevens, finishing in 12th. Then it's Connor Parise, the American. Ben Palmer, 14th. James Holman in 15th. Then Tim Greven in 16th place for Craig Setup Shop. Ash Sutton there in 17th. Then it's Lee Berridge for Boosted SimSport 18th. 19th place for Ross Balfour. Adam McNally in 20th place. Naj Daniel, the Hungarian, in 21st place. That'd be a good track to have on iRacing.
Hungaroring, yeah.
Hungaroring, yeah. 22nd for Jack Stiles. Luke Cooper, 23rd. Then Mark Woodhouse, who we saw sideways very early on. Michael Evdoka in the end managed to finish in 25th. Kevin Carlisle, 26th. Charlie Eastwood in 27th. Michael Blake managed to get off the foot of the leaderboards to finish 28th in the end. So that's a gain of 30 places. Good, decent job there by the number 44. Then it's Jorge Ordonez in 29th place after starting on the pole. Tyler Vickery in 30th. Simon Field, 31st. We were mentioning the drive that Bram Clace did, finish in 32nd. Rob Sutherland, 33rd. Peter Dempsey in 34th. We saw him off earlier. Mats Anderson in 35th. Alex Simpson there in 36th place. If the reverse grid is a 40 again, it would be in his favour because he'd be on the second row of the grid. Jason Cooper in 37th. Sorry. Then Rob Jackson, Dirk Resky, Sean Gardner in 40th. And then Jake Robertson, and then the cars 1 lap down or more. Nicky Meredith and Mark Jones both classified finishers. The cars that didn't finish and getting no points. Ross McFarlane, Keith Dempsey, Rob Barrable, he was up in the top 10 earlier. Dave Baker, after finishing 6th here, he finishes in race 1, he finishes 47th this time. Will be starting right towards the rear. Hannum Hadfield, 48th, Johnny Adam in 49th, and Craig Williams in 50th. Then it's Jake Blackhall, the Aussie, 51st after a top 10 finish in race 1. Then Scott Malcolm, Jack Sedgwick down there in 53rd place. Paolo Preto, 54th. And John Roberts, Tim Stabani, Mike Corder and Rob Graham finishing at the back in 58 for race 2.
Well done, Adam. It's been a while since we've had to read out such massive grids. But I'll tell you what, you did a good job there. And Sam is going to sure do the slightly easier task of spinning the reverse grid wheel for us.
Yeah, that's right. The wheel is on your screen and let's spin it again. Maybe we get to pick one again, who knows. It's a long spin, but it eventually lands in 4.
4.
Minus 4.
4 minus 4.
I was just checking.
Good thing you checked.
Because it could have been on there. I don't know. I can't see the wheel. 4 minus 4. Right then.
Dirk Resky then on
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think so. Dirk Resky, privateer. I think he's going to be starting on pole position with a huge task ahead of him. Rob Jackson for Simtech Racing will join him on the front row. Not that Simtech. Automech in 30. Automech with Jason Cooper will be 3rd, and Alex Simpson will be in 4th place. Apex Racing team on the 2nd row. Mats Borger Andersen, the Norwegian driver, is going to be in 5th. So we'll see them when we come back at the other side of the break. You're watching the iRacing Esports Network. We've got one more round to go in Mid-Ohio. See you after the break. You join us again at Mid-Ohio on the iRacing Esports Network for round 3 of the 2020 Apex Racing League TCR Series, ARLTC Championship. Here, presented by Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse and Adam Bath here for a 7th year covering this championship, as we said at the beginning. But Adam, if this goes, as I said at the end of race 2, if this goes as well as the first 2 races have gone tonight, and it has been as exciting as they have been, then this could be one of the best seasons that we've done.
Really looking forward to seeing what the points look like when we complete this one, because it's been a complete mix-up of the field, really. In race 1 and race 2, we had the quick guys at the front in race 1. Race 2, we got a 40-car reverse grid. We saw many drivers fighting their way back through the field. And now we've pretty much done the same here. We've got full -4 for race 3, which is about still the same from race 2. We've got another 40 cars reversed, so it gives some other drivers the opportunity to try and get to the front. Tell you what, next week's going to be good because we're at Silverstone National, I believe, for that one. So that will be good. A whole lot of slipstreaming going around there. And here is the grid. So it is Dirk Reski starting on pole position, Rob Jackson in 2nd, Jason Cooper 3rd, then it's Alex Simpson in 4th. Matt Sporgay in 5th, then it's Peter Dempsey in 6th, Rob Sutherland 7th, Bram Clace in 8th, Simon Field 9th, Tyler Vickery in 10th, then it's Jorge Ordonez in 11th, Michael Blake 12th, 13th for Charlie Eastwood, and Kevin Carlisle, Michael Evdoka, Mark Woodhouse, Luke Cooper, Jack Stiles, Naj Daniel, and Anna McNally completing the top 20, and the rest of the grid cycling through your screen now. Starting down in 56th will be Rob Graham. We've lost 2 cars for the final race.
Yeah, I know. I think a couple of people didn't take the start in race 2, so yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Anyway, the lights are on. The green light is on at Mid-Ohio to start race 3 of the evening. Poor start by Reski, just did not get off the line, but great start by Jason Cooper, who leads into turn 1 for Automech ahead of Alex Simpson. These 2 are away. Reski's in 3rd. He's already been overtaken by Peter Dempsey.
Now that was all about the experience of the TCR cars away from the line, wasn't it? Both Cooper and Alex Simpson both knew what to do when getting away from the
Oh, sideways for sideways off. Two yellow cars in the wall. I think one of them might have been Mark Johnston.
One of them was definitely a CQR club car that got turned around as well, just trying to work.
Well, no, I think it was the Fearlessly Forward car, possibly.
Trying to work out who's down the order, but here is Daniel Naj, who's contacts. That's one of the Automech cars around, and it's caused a bit of a traffic jam. There's a wheel flying somewhere.
I think it's Villegas possibly who's gone off, but sideways, big spin.
Those are wheels, those are tyres. Not the best start to this 3rd and final race. A lot of cars going to have to come back to the pits if they've lost a wheel. That'll probably be them done on the spot.
Yeah, there's the Simtech racing car. Rob Jackson, number 85. He's in the thick of the action in 14th place. Cooper. Sideways, big sideways there in the background, but managed to rescue it. And that is car 802. That is Luke Cooper. So Jason Cooper leads the way. Luke Cooper in 15th.
Wojciech Savidovic in the pits, so the reigning champion is out of this one. He might get back out, but I don't know if he'll be classified or not. There's a Team Mad car very sideways through the first corner. At the end of the opening lap, though, it's Cooper, Simpson, Dempsey, Eastwood, and Vickery.
Ash Sutton up to 16th place in car 116. Round the outside, Noj Daniel is having a look at Dirk Reski. And you can see here Tyler Vickery and Bram Klaas.
That's through into 5th position, just behind him. It's very close there between Daniel Naj and Dirk Reski as well. I think those names need to be flipped around. I think it's Daniel Naj, not Naj Daniel.
Yeah.
Just clocked on there. Big movers at the end of the opening lap. 18 places gained for Dempsey, at least what it says on my timing screen anyway. Rushworth up a few. Oh, contact!
Oh, yeah. And that's Vickery ending up getting turned around possibly by Reski. Yeah, Rescue is dropping down slightly. And then the Fitzstein motorsport cars. Oh, there's a pile up there. Going into the final sector, and off goes Simon Field into the gravel, and also it's Michael Evdoka, I think.
Yeah, it is in the Texans Fitstar Motorsports car. I think the car might be broken for Field. I think he's trying to get back on the circuit. Ben Palmer.
Oh, there's a bit of Punterino going on at the final chicane, isn't it?
One of the Simtech cars involved.
Yeah, Jackson in the gravel. I think he might be out. Might be a broken suspension for him. The aggression's been turned up a little bit. You can sense it. Ben Palmer in the CQR Club car then. We saw him on the screen. Now we're looking at Luke Cooper. And Ash Sutton trying to go around the outside of the Automatic car. It's not really going to happen at the hairpin, Ash, but it might happen at the bottom of the hill. As we go through the kink. And when the Grand Prix Series used to run here, this is where the only DRS zone was. And up the inside goes Sutton, then into the infield. And that's a nice easy move, a clean move there. And up to 11th place.
12 places gained for Sutton, 18 places gained for the American, just 2 places in front of him, Conor Parise. 18 places to be in 9th. Looking here at Dirk Reski after the poor getaway because of the, well, we know it, we were trying to master the start in the ARLTC. Basically, you don't use any ramps whatsoever. You just got to get away from nothing, really.
It is very, very difficult to do it without just spinning the wheels, and you go nowhere. Oh, off, Reski. Reski's off. Is he going to save it? He needs to boot the throttle. Yes. Just about.
The funny thing is, it gets worse as well when you pull away from the line, because you think, oh, I'm not moving, so I'm going to put the throttle down even more, and then that just spins the tyres up even more, and you not go anywhere.
Oh, up the inside. There's a 3-wide situation there.
But the turn free cars.
Was it Grieven? Was it Dempsey? It's Dempsey, isn't it?
Dempsey
just in front of them in the orange Craig setup shop car.
Yeah, turn 3 motorsport there, going 3 abreast into turn 1.
Keith Dempsey, the Irishman, and the Brit James Holman. Dempsey up 30 places from where he started. Astonishing start.
His car's borne the brunt of it, I think.
I think he... Indeed, and you can see the back of Michael Blake's car not looking all too clever. Team Mad car, you see it's crumpled.
In this first season of the Audi TCR last year, these cars were built like tanks. They could literally go through anything. Now we've got the damage involved, and I wonder if it's catching a few of the drivers out. But even though
we'll find out at certain tracks. Adam Belle-Isle, for instance, we'll find out that even a tank isn't indestructible.
Oof.
Oh my!
So really gets swallowed up there by Ash Sutton, who's currently chasing down Michael Blake.
Well, Dempsey sets the fastest lap of the race. Peter Dempsey, that is. P3 for him.
It's a good segue, mentioning what tracks we go to. We've got Mid-Ohio, Silverstone, Virginia, Imola, Road America, Brands Hatch, Nürburgring, Sonoma, that'll be good, Lime Rock, Watkins Glen, Interlagos, Suzuka, Bathurst, and the usual end-of-season showdown in Daytona. So good schedule for the 14-week season.
Of course, Peter Dempsey is... it is the same Peter Dempsey that I'm thinking of, was Formula Ford. He's won the Waterhays Trophy, and he used to be an Indy Lights driver. I think that might be the same person. I'm not 100% sure on that one. He's definitely quick enough, however.
I was trying to put the pressure on a former World Championship Grand Prix Series driver here in Alex Simpson.
Yeah, iRacing Road Pro Series champion a few seasons ago, 3 or 4 seasons ago. Simpson in P2. It's like he's kind of feeling this race out, but Jason Cooper's really putting the hammer down. It's a great lap, 129.09. Second only to Dempsey in terms of fastest laps of the race.
We mentioned at the beginning of the show that Automac had a very good season last year in the first season of the TCR. They really got to grips with it straight away, and the new livery has maybe added another half a half a second to their times, because Cooper he's away at the moment with a 1.5 second lead.
Yeah, and they've really improved, haven't they? And you see it, seen it over the years, you know.
Yeah, especially with Pete Newman Media. Apex have had a bit of resurgence themselves. I remember when they were in the midfield for a bit, as Adam McNally's had to tow back to the pits, at least on my screen anyway. I think he might actually still be in the race, not too sure on that one.
Well, there was a time when you would find, and this is no disrespect intended, you would find Automake near the back of the field, and now they can prove that they can run at the front. And this is Class. So you have to tell me if that's wrong. I think it is Class ahead of Styles and Sutton and Paris.
It's probably one of the closest fought battles on the circuit at the moment. A lot of quick drivers in here. TechSense Fitstar Motorsport aiming to make a splash in
I think I can
ARLTCR.
I think I can even find a closer one. Holman, Harris, Palmer, McFarlane, 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th.
Now we mentioned Sutton at the inside.
Here comes, yeah.
And just like that, he's up into 8th place, straight up the inside, and if you're on the outside there for that corner, you can't really do much to prevent it.
Well, Dempsey's given Simpson the hurry up. He's just set the fastest lap of the race, Alex Simpson. Good to see that. The Simtech racing car's gone a little bit wide here. And I wonder if Sutton's going to make a move on the Belgian. Late on the brakes for Ash.
Oh, look at that.
Uses that slightly newer tarmac to his advantage. Can he complete the move? Can he stay on the track? He can. He's got the overlap and he's clear. Lovely, lovely move by Ash Sutton. That's one of the best we'll see in this race meeting, I'm sure.
That speed he was able to carry into that. That's what helps get it done. And now all of a sudden the Simtech car's on the defensive, because here comes Styles. And Connor Paris.
See, he's around the outside of, well, Paris has tried to go to the inside, which is then going to turn to the outside for the right-hander. But then it's definitely one line through this double apex right. Little bit like Druids at Alton Park, but with the crest on the exit. Turns in. Styles using a much better line than Class on this occasion. He might try and burrow his way through in the last corner. Maybe not so much there. TechSense Fitstar Motorsport really become a force in iRacing. Looks like Harris is dropping down the order. I think there's an issue for Damien Harris.
Oh no, the 503 car. Oh look, here comes. Meanwhile, here comes Jack Styles. He's going to try and pull off the move that Ash Sutton did on the Simtech car on the previous tour. Oh, they all converge at the hairpin. And now here comes Paris. He's got alongside, but because the TechSense Fitstar car was on the outside, he'll be able to power back around the outside.
It's going to be close, isn't it? Going down the back straight. Well, it's not really straight, but longest full throttle section of the circuit. Styles is going to lose out. He might lose out to Michael Blake here. Blake thinks about it. We've seen a few dives into that hairpin.
Tried to turn in and it just didn't want to, and then he had to have a second bite at it to turn in, and eventually it did for Jack Styles. And here's
Class
some of the
Class is doing a good job of holding these guys off at this point. He's got another 10 minutes of it nearly.
Oh no, I think the floodgates might have opened already, you know.
Oh dear. Commentator's curse.
A bit wide. Well, it won't be the last time this season, and oh, Michael Blake just about gets past on the outside.
Good move by Michael Blake. Oh, Cooper wanted a bit of it as well, but then he went slightly wide himself, and now he hits Class, trying to force him out of the way. That's not really wonderful, but
it's going to get gobbled up potentially.
Grieven and Dempsey then. Grieven on the outside. Oh, that's close. Dempsey, wow. Good commitment there by the Irishman. He might have a go here into the hairpin. Or slightly wide again for Class. He's just getting absolutely swallowed up, isn't he, by these guys? And he contacts Dempsey again. But Dempsey survives, and he's off after Cooper, but he's got Grieven for company, the man with, looks like the Iraqi flag on there, so I'll find out what that's about in due course, but... Oh, Grieven!
Oh!
Oh my goodness me! Well, there's almost an issue there behind for Tyler Vickery, but I think he collided with Woodhouse.
I was expecting to see that car slide across the shop, but they were able to hold on to it. Of course, these cars are front-wheel drive, so they're a bit easier to hold on to than if you're in a rear-wheel drive car, for example.
Still kicking off there. It's kicking off between, it might kick off between Simpson and Dempsey soon as well for P2. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one at some point, but this is the battle for 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th. We're down to James Holman. Sometimes you just find yourself sitting back and watching, don't you? I mean, it's like it's mesmerising sometimes, the ARLTCR.
Yeah, it just sometimes does blow you away. We did mention this on while there's a brief moment to catch breath. We do talk about this a lot on Monday, where on our timing screen basically we see if it's a close battle, the interval's in red, and if it's not, it's in white, and our timing screen's literally just a sea of orange and red at the moment. That's how close everyone is. There you go, it's more proof on your screen. That's how close everybody is, just a couple of tenths in it between each car.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we see. Ross McFarlane's made a move there, look. He's got past Bram Class. And he's into 18th place, the Scotsman, who was crawling around with a blown engine in the last race after a crash. Nothing wrong with it this time, of course. Dempsey still pushing on. Oh, Woodhouse has a problem. Oh, he's in the middle of the course, look.
Oh my word.
Almost, dear me. Woodhouse has spun, he's held the brakes, but he can't. Trying to get out of the way, but just about manages it, Adam, but eventually.
Yeah, I had a similar situation at Alton Park last night, and it's just so frustrating when you just see the relative and everyone's so close together, you can't really get going.
Is Tim Stabani, another newcomer. Now, I believe Tim Stabani does a bit of rallying on the side. Or maybe he does some iRacing on the side. Good to see all these new drivers here, actually. I wonder if any of the entries were enforced by the current climate, or influenced by the current climate, shall we say. Here's Nudge, and he's chasing down Eastwood. And we haven't talked about Charlie Eastwood much today, but the Turn 3 Motorsport Red driver, another Irishman here, is going serenely about his business. P4, having started 13th, so really, really solid run for him. And these guys have got a big gap to Ash Sutton, nearly 5 seconds back to the CQR man.
Well, it's been an interesting night for Turn 3 Motorsports, and Eastwood in particular.
Oh, yeah.
They've had the good, the bad and the ugly. So we'll see if they can end on a good note here, because at the moment they're on course for a podium in third with Peter Dempsey, and here with Charlie Eastwood in fourth. And here he is, he's putting Alex Simpson under pressure.
I would like to petition to the teams, though, that we get at least one of these blue, white and black liveries changed, because yes, we can work it out just about, but I wonder if we can get something slightly altered so we can differentiate a bit easier at a distance. Yeah, Simpson, he'll be happy with the points, I tell you. We've seen him get off to bad starts in the past. I think someone's dropping down the order. I'm not sure exactly who that is. Not sure exactly, but I think it might just be a timing glitch.
And we haven't got too long to go either. When we get back to the line, we'll be starting the final lap. So 2 laps to go as these guys cross the line now. That's going to be close, you know. Actually, no, it's not going to be close. So yeah, this is the penultimate lap.
Dave Baker's made up 21 places from starting 46th. John Roberts has made 29 places from also starting in the 50s.
And here is Keith Dempsey with the battered and bruised front end, but it has managed to help gain him 35 places.
He's obviously utilised the chrome horn slightly.
Indeed, yeah. And behind him, he's got Jack Stiles and Tim Grevin, who are very close to each other into the hairpin. Is the Craig setup shop car going to go for the move? He is.
He's going for it.
And he's got it. So that's Tim up into the top 10 with 1.5 laps to go. But here comes the Texense Fitstyle car. It's got a very decent exit. It's all going to be about the defence here, and let's see if Jack can get the move done on the outside. Hard on the brakes. They go!
Oh, contact on the braking. They both slid. They both just slid into each other, as sometimes the front-wheel drive cars want to do under hard braking. They slither around a little as the rear gets a bit light.
Great view from the front here of Jack Stiles closing up under braking, taking a lot of the inside curve as they plunge back down the hill. It's almost like a mini Paddock Hill bend, that as well.
He's had a good race, Tim Greaven. He's gained 14 positions. Really good stuff there. Who else has gained a lot of places? Craig Williams himself has gained 25 places. Good stuff by the team principal at the Craig Setup Shop. Now, look at this through turn 1. Holman, McFarlane and Newman. Holman for turn 3 Motorsport, McFarlane for Texense Fitstyle, and Newman for CQR Sim Sports. And there might be some friends joining the party, Adam, because Pete Harrod and Damien Harris, not too far behind, also Stabani.
Yeah, a strong supporting cast then, and just about a second away is Jamie Rushworth as well. So these lots start squabbling. He'll be on the scene as well. He's just entering his shot at the back there.
Well, we're nearly at the end of the race, Adam. It's unbelievable. But Jason Cooper, oh, he's pushed him off.
Oh
my! McFarlane, he's going to come back and collect somebody, surely. He collects Newman, but I think Jason Cooper's going to take the win, Adam.
Here comes the Automet car then. It's one of the few cars in the field that's not blue, and the red and white go faster stripes are going to power him to victory here in the final race of the day.
Well, he won't be blue after that. Leaves the others red-faced.
Oh.
And the top step for Cooper. Alex Simpson in second place. He'll be enjoying the bubbly after that, as will Peter Dempsey. Great performances by those 3 guys there. They started, well, Cooper started 3rd, Simpson 4th, Dempsey 6th. They made very strong starts, and they parlayed that into the podium finish. You can see the drivers still coming across further down, likes of Adam Hedgecock, Lee Berridge, not too far away from the finish here. Oh no, he didn't. He's okay. Oh, Cooper giving it some handbrake.
Oh,
yes. Have it. Well, the Automate driver, brilliantly done. And we haven't seen a win for Automate for quite some time, Adam, and this is a great day for them.
Yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds in recent seasons. Got a whole lot of good drivers in their stable now too. Not the other lot weren't bad or anything. But I think that as a whole has helped the whole team pull themselves up a bit.
I think they've got more depth though throughout the team now, and more. I think their high-end drivers are of a faster quality than what they used to have, and now everyone else, like you say, is being lifted up by that.
Everybody's finished, and as Jason Cooper comes into the pits to round off the first meeting of the season, we've got the results up on your screen.
Oh, just a reminder,
Up on our screen.
if you want an interview, come into the Apex Racing TV Discord. I think we're going to do 3 interviews a week, so we'll that seems to be a good number. So I think we'll pick 3, but come in and we'll try and get you in as soon as the results are read out.
Okay, that gives you a bit of time because there are a lot of them. Jason Cooper wins for Automech. Alex Simpson finishes 2nd. Peter Dempsey completes the podium. His Turn 3 Motorsport colleague Charlie Eastwood finishes in 4th. 5th for Daniel Nage. Then it's Ash Sutton in 6th for CQR Pure Sims. The highest CQR car in the field after their 1-2-3 in race 2. And then it's Connor Paris, Luke Cooper, the highest AM driver in 8th, also driving for Automech, so double delight for them. Keith Dempsey 9th and Tim Grieven in 10th. Jack Stiles 11th, Michael Blake 12th, Ben Palmer finishing in 13th, and it's James Holman, Ross McFarlane in 15th, then Damien Owen Harris. Pete Newman there in 17th place. He was in an interesting squabble on the final lap. Pete Harrod in 18th, 19th place for Tim Stabani, and 20th for Jamie Rushworth. Tyler Lugo Vickery finishing in 21st place. Then it's Simon Field, Craig Williams, Ross Balfour there in 24th. And it's Jose Malbran, Matt Bunn in 26th, Jack Sedgwick 51st to 27th. That is an underrated drive there by last season's runner-up. 28th for Kevin Carlisle, 29th for Michael Evdoka, and 30th for George Simmons. 31st for Mark Woodhouse, Adam Hadfield in 32nd, and Brown Class in 33rd. Mark Johnston 34th, Adam Hedgecock for Boosted in 35th, and Jake Blackcall, the Aussie, in 36th. 37th for Rob Graham, Lee Berridge, John Roberts, and Kip Stevens complete the top 40. And it's Dave Baker, Rob Sutherland, Dirk Resky, Paolo Preto, and then the cars that didn't finish one lap down or more. Rob Jackson, lap down, Jorge Ordonez, Mark Jones failed to finish along with Alan McNally, Robert Barrable, Matt Sanderson, Nicky Meredith, Mike Horder, the Welshman, Josh Thompson, Jake Robertson, Wojciech Simidovic out very early on, and Scott Malcolm finishing in 56th place.
All right, Adam, well done on that one. And we do have some drivers waiting for an interview, so I think that the first interview of the 2020 season should go to a man who I think had possibly one of the last ones of the 2019 the last winter series. Adam Hedgecock joins in the commentary box. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Well, very eventful out there. Forgive me for not having a clue where you finished in any of the races, but take us through your evening and take us through having to go back with 60 cars again.
I'll tell you what, I've missed it. It's great to be back on track with so many cars. It's absolutely brilliant. Tonight, the Mid-Ohio is so fun for racing because there's not a lot of room. It's hard to overtake. And if you run a bit wide, there's lots of grass and lots of hills to fall down. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Great track. Very, very tight for all these cars. What did you find? We keep going on every year about how the quality of the series gets better and better, but it seems to be that we've got some fantastic drivers battling down in the 40s.
There's plenty of depth this year. There's a lot of new faces.
Which is good.
But it is good. It's certainly a rude awakening for some of them. On my travels tonight, I did see a couple of people particularly struggling. But equally, there's some people that...
At the start, we saw you involved in race 3 there. That was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I tried to wriggle my way through, and there was I think that was Balfour in the core car and just ahead of me, and managed to get through without too much damage and brought the car home. But it's a learning experience for everyone. I think the new guys learning how we do things, and for us that have run it a few times, we have to learn how they drive, and towards the end of the season, it should be absolutely epic as usual.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's what the ARLTCR is all about. New damage model as well coming to fruition for a lot of people tonight. But I thought it was a well-behaved first try anyway.
I mean, there there was a little bit of naughty door banging at times, but that's what you get. It's touring cars, isn't it? You know, people try to create their own little gaps. I mean,
I think if you get rid of that, then it's kind of going to be a bit pedestrian, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's part of the fun of it, though. Like you roll the dice a few times. So I done one in race 3 on Rob Graham, just lunged it from a mile back and just prayed that he gave me room and kind of give me a little elbow on the way through. But yeah, it's part and parcel of this league, isn't it? We see it time and time again. You have to get your elbows out, because if you don't, you end up getting freight trained.
It is a stressful one, that's for sure. And but we hope that you have a good season. Take us through, you know, your shout outs to your sponsors and whoever before we let you go.
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a pleb, so I don't have sponsors, but I do always give a shout out to the team. Great bunch of guys as always. Hopefully our liveries still stand out this season, so you don't have any trouble spotting us.
Well, they're not all light blue, so it's good.
This is true. Shout out to mind.org.uk. This year we're running their decals and their website on all of our cars, just to raise awareness for mental health and well-being. And to you guys, welcome back. It's great to see you for 7 years, is it?
Pretty much.
7 years.
No, that's
My
epic in itself.
goodness.
Institution, boys. It's an institution.
Yeah, we're getting that way. Now, if only we could figure out a way so we can see all 60 cars at once, we'd be very, very, very happy.
It is tough.
But Adam, it's good to have you in the commentary box, mate, and hopefully we can have you in once you've maybe taken a cheeky win or two later on. Who knows?
Let's hope so. Let's hope it doesn't peter out like it did last year.
That's it. Well, nice one, Adam, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, cheers, chaps.
I'm intrigued to get one of the but I was just about to suggest that we got him in.
Well, and we're just going to see a man. Adam's found Peter Dempsey.
Oh well, Peter, welcome. You and your Turn 3 Motorsport colleagues have had a pretty interesting debut to life in the ARLTCR tonight.
Yeah, it was a little rougher, I think, than expected. Coming from the race in the F3s the last few weeks, but very enjoyable. Just not an inch given, so it makes racing a little bit tough for us newcomers.
What were the things that you had to get to grips with pretty much straight away? I noticed that not you in particular, but a lot of the newcomers struggled with getting the cars off the line from the standing start, and then of course you're in and amongst a field of 60 cars for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, the biggest thing was just the starts for me were too bad. I think Charlie struggled a bit first start, but he figured it out by the end. It's just really getting into the race quicker and being on attack mode from as soon as the lights go out versus kind of settling into the race. The lads in the TCRs don't allow you any time to settle in. They just start sending it and then just contacting you damage, which makes the race very difficult.
And going from single seaters into touring cars, is there much that you can carry over from that into this classification?
Apart from racecraft, it's different.
Yeah.
Wheel drive, so I'm still trying to figure out where the time is or how to get more time out of the car. You try different stuff and it feels better, and all of a sudden the projected time just drops the wrong direction. So we'll get better, I think, as the season goes on. A bit more testing for next week, and hopefully the whole lot of us can move up the grid a bit to try to stay out of trouble.
No, you can correct me if I'm being stupid, but you I think I saw you racing the Walter Hayes in 2016.
15 probably, yeah. 15 was the last time.
15, yeah, because we were down with Graham. I think we saw you racing. I just remember it was very, very cold, and that's all I really remember of that weekend. It was freezing. But good to see you in the series, mate. Anyway, and it's you must be encouraged by the finishes you've had tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think between all of us, we can, work together a bit more and move up. But obviously, get a podium, our first event is good. And I think Keith in the first race finished at 7th or 8th. So we've got a good group of us that are very competitive and push each other along. And hopefully, you know, the reverse grids make it very tricky to try to keep out of trouble. So having 3 strong races is tough. I'm going to try and have, you know, one of the 3 races kind of good result, and everything else after that's a bonus.
I think Adam will agree with me in that Peter's done the right thing, and the turn 3 guys, they've brought a lot of people. That's kind of what you need in this league, isn't it?
Definitely need
gotta,
your friends close.
Yeah, show up with the gun loaded.
Well, next week, Peter, speaking of Silverstone, we're heading there next week for the second race meeting of the season, the national circuit. So that'll probably pose a whole different test for you in the Audi, because there'll be a lot of slipstreaming racing around there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm based in the US, so a bit of a home field advantage on Mid-Ohio. But Silverstone, obviously, I know it from racing myself there, so look forward to it.
Great, well done on the podium today. Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
The wife for allowing me to 4 or 5 hours down here for doing this, because I'm here with 2 kids, so I owe her a drink or 2 tonight. That's it.
Oh, there we go. Succinct. Well done on the result today, Peter.
That was the right answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Learning.
Cheers.
Good luck, lads. Thanks.
No
Thank
worries,
you.
Peter. Peace a bit.
Yeah, good to see a lot of new blood into the series, Adam, and quite a lot of Irish drivers out on the grid there. Good to see, and a bit of an influx.
I know, yeah, they've arrived, haven't they? Dempsey.
They probably need to combat the amount of Scottish drivers that there is out there. Yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, good. And we just need a few Welshmen left, and then we've got the whole joke, haven't we?
Well, we have. We've got plenty of English, and then. And speaking of the punchline, the man who's going to have the last word of the day is going to be our very own Alex Simpson. Alex, well done. Second place in race 3. Looked tough out there the first 2 though, mate. That's it. This series is getting more and more tense, I think, by the year.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good to be back as always. Unfortunately, 2 meatballs managed to somehow limp it across the line, so scored some points. But you're right. I think it's going to be way more competitive than it has been in the past, and definitely have to fight for absolutely everything out there. I'll say congrats to Jason in that final race as well. Really good pace. Just couldn't get the tyres warmed up in the first 3-4 laps, and he was able to eke out enough of a gap, and then I was sort of able to hold it, and then had Pete right behind me, so sort of eyes looking forward and in the rear view mirror as well. It's become very difficult to reel him back in, but yeah, great pace and a great victory for him.
You know, we said to Adam Hedgecock that the series is getting stronger and stronger. You know, we were somewhat surprised that he only got back to say 36th or wherever it was, I think, in race 3, but race 1 or race 2. But that's just the quality of the field now, isn't it?
I mean, yes, it is. Obviously, I did have a meatball, so I did have quite a bit of damage. I think I had to pit and everything else like that. So I think I probably could have clawed my way back up a bit further. But I do think that top 25 is, I mean, it was always tight, but I just think it's just got crazy close now. Like qualifying is going to be so important in that first race. I mean, I know it's Mid-Ohio, I know it's difficult to overtake, but it was just nuts. There was just really nowhere to go. There was a couple of little bumps which broke the pack apart just a little bit, but it really was difficult. I was just trying to hold steady and just sort of finish race 1 without an incident like I did unlike I did last season. But yeah, as it is, it was a repeat performance.
Well, looking at it out there, you know, we've got a lot of new talent coming into the series, and I was just talking to Peter Dempsey about he was racing at the Walter Hayes with Graham and that year that we were there. So
I'm pretty sure I recognise the name. I think there's a few guys that have obviously joined that do some real racing. So yeah, it's good to see them on the grid.
As well, everyone's got nothing better to do. It's what the
I mean, exactly. I think everyone's going to enjoy themselves over this time when they can get and do some sim racing. I'm sure they'd much prefer to be racing a real car and whatnot, but hopefully this keeps their edge, you know.
We made the joke the other night, which I'll make again, that the staying inside and lacking social contact really won't affect sim racing that much.
I think you've seen quite the opposite, actually. I think there's been a boom in sim racing.
That's what I mean.
Certainly a boom in broadcasts and things like that going out. So yeah, I mean, yeah, clearly whoever cross-contaminated this to create it was a sim racing esport fan.
Maybe so. But I will give actually a very good, and I'm sure you want to join me in saying big shout out to all the broadcasters everywhere who are putting, doing all these broadcasts with the extra workload and everything, because it, as we find out week to week, it does take a fair bit of whack to put these broadcasts on.
It does, and right now it's a real challenge for everyone as well. Of course, we're seeing, and I'm not broadcasting tonight, so I'll freely say this. Obviously, we're seeing this little C-bar issue that lots and lots and lots of drivers are having right now. We're having to crank the cars right down.
And a lot of broadcasters in other places are having it as well.
And obviously, exactly, your broadcasters, you have to have max cars on for timings and things like that to work. So, I just want to put a shout out to iRacing to please investigate it. I don't know how much you've looked at the thread on the forum, but it really needs looking at, because it is hurting big time the broadcasts and the league racing, where we've got more than, say, official series races that might be 40 cars and that's it. It really is. Once you get into the 50s, it's really causing a problem. I love the sim, and I want to see like little things like this fixed. And it's
fixed in time for things like Le Mans as well. When
exactly, we're going to need that. I mean, we saw it at Sebring, and I think
was it bad there?
It was bad there. A few drivers with that, and like I said, it's affecting all the broadcasters and that. So let's get this one nipped in the bud. Anything that we can do to help, I'm sure that our whole team is willing to sort of test everything. And I'll do the shout out for Apex Racing TV. I'm sure that everybody in here, all our broadcasters, will do some testing with iRacing until we can figure what is going on since this last build.
That's definitely willing to help out, trying to figure out the problems. It's like our own little it's like your own little software illness that we've got that we can't get a vaccine for at the minute, sadly. But
blooming bugs everywhere.
But no, thank you. Everybody, thank you, Alex, for coming to join us again. Just give a shout out to the sponsors, obviously. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, big shout out to SDK Gaming and to Computers PC Systems. I want to give a shout out to everybody at Apex Racing, iRacing, and of course you guys for doing the broadcast.
Perfect. Hope you stick around with us for a few minutes as well afterwards. Right, everybody, thank you for watching tonight here on the iRacing Esports Network. We've really enjoyed the first round of the season, as I hope you have too. It's great to see the ARLTC back for another season. But once again, I just want to echo what I said the other night, in that, wherever you are, whatever challenges you're facing due to this problem and everything else, we're all in it together. Our hearts go out to you. And we're thinking every day about the people who haven't made it through all this as well. So not to end on such a somber note, but everybody stay safe out there. Like I say, be kind, be courteous, don't be greedy, and just think about everybody else, and try to go about your lives as best you can. But from all of us here on the iRacing Esports Network, we'll see you next week at Silverstone for 3 more rounds in the ARLTCR. Good night, everybody.